Hi guys, welcome to this session. Today we are going to discuss a Python problem asked in Microsoft, and the problem is to validate an IP address. So I'm going to pass a string, and my Python program should be able to find that if it is an IP address or not. So to understand IP address, basically what is a valid IP address? It must be in the form of A.B.C.D, where A, B, C, and D are numbers from 0 to 255, including 0 and 255. The numbers cannot be 0 prefixed unless they are 0. What does that mean? Your IP address should be in the form of A.B.C.D, and A, B, C, D should be in the range of 0 to 255. There cannot be any letter or any other character. It must be strictly in between, including 0 and 255. Now, it should be in the form of A.B.C.D. That is one condition. And then second is A, B, C, D should be in the range of 0 to 255. Now the third condition is A, B, C, D cannot be 0 prefixed. Means it cannot be like 0, 1, 2 or 0, 3, 4 or 0, 9, 5. It cannot be 0 prefixed. Unless they are completely 0. Means 0.0.0.0 is fine. But 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is not fine. So this is the validation. Now let's come to the logical part, how we can approach this. So approach we can do is we will check all the cases where IP address may be invalid. You need to focus where it can be invalid. Rest your program will work it out where it's valid. So first we will split the given input using split function, because when you see any input like in this form, the first thing you can even blindly do is just split it so that you can cross check things. When it's not always valid, but whenever you have something like this and you need to validate, a split usually helps. So what you need to check is, once you split it, you need to check if it has a length of 4 or not. Why? Because when you will split on this dot, you know how split method works. When you have A dot B dot C dot D, and this is your string. So when you split on the string, what it does, it converts it into like this in a list. It gives you like this. So the length is obviously 4 here. So you can use this condition. If it has a length of 4 or not. If it does not have a length of 4, obviously it's going to be invalid. So you can simply return 0. This is first you can do. In second step, what you can do is, now let's say it has a length of 4. Now the second check if any split element contains any leading 0 or not. This is the second case. Once you filter up to this point where it's not having length of 4, then most of the string will be filtered. Now, if it passes the first condition, then check the second condition if it has any leading 0 or not. If it has any leading 0, you will again filter some of the strings, some of the IP addresses. Now, third condition is, now if it has passed this also, now if any of the split does not contain any number, because there may be situation where, okay, it has the length of 4. Now there may be condition where it does not have any leading 0. It can be like FA0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, X, Y, Z. Now you see, I don't have any leading 0. So it can pass my first condition because it has length of 4. It can pass my second condition that it does not have any leading 0. So you can see most of my cases will be passed. Okay, and in the third condition, that's what my third condition is. If any of the split does not contain any number, then it is not a valid IP address. Now in third condition, first, second will pass, third will not pass in this case. So now again, many IP addresses will be filtered based on this. Now then we will check if all the splits are in the range of 0 to 255. Since first, second, third condition, first condition was length 4. Second condition was leading 0. I mean pre-filled 0. Like first number should not be 0 in each split of at the dot. Third condition is no letter. And in all these three conditions, I haven't checked yet about 0 to 255 range of each split point. I haven't checked this condition. So fourth condition is 0 to 255. I'm going to check for each split point. So now, if any of the split does not contain any number, then it is not a valid IP address. Okay, this was the third condition. Then fourth was it should be in the range of 0 to 255. Again, it will be filtered. Now finally, if none of the above condition is true, we can finally say that it is a valid IP address. So when my options of IP addresses passes all these 4 options, where it's not true in any case, then obviously it's a valid IP address. So let's code now. Now I'm going to first check. Now you can take any option first, but I'm going to take 0 to 255 range. I'm going to first check if at each split I'm having the range of 0 to 255 or not. So I'm going to say range check, and I'm going to pass each split, and then I'm going to check if n equal to 0, not equal to 0, I will say greater equal than 0. If n is greater equal than 0 and n shorter equal than 255, because I want 0 and 255 into this, then I will just return true, else I will return false. This will be my first function, first check, which is range check. Then I will check leading 0 check. If leading 0 check. Again, I will pass each split point here, and then I will say, first of all, before checking leading 0, I'm going to check if it has length of greater equal than 1. Why I need to do this? Because, for example, let's say I have this number. So here you can see that I have leading 0. So obviously it is not a valid IP address. But this length is 3. This length is 3. This is 2. This is 2. Now, suppose my number is 0.345.67.89. It has leading 0, but its length is 1. It's 3. So it is a valid IP address, but if I don't keep the condition of length, it will make this as false IP address, which is not the case. That's why I need to check length here. If length of n greater equal than 1, length of n greater equal than 1, then we will check if the first element of n, which is n of 0, is equal to 0 or not. If it has leading 0 or not, then I will simply return true, else I will return false. So this is my second function. Now I'm going to create main function where I will split the string and then I will check all these conditions. So let's start. I will say def is valid function where I will pass a string. Now first thing I need to do is split at dot. Now once I do this, I need to first check after splitting if it has a length of 4 or not. So I'm going to simply say if length of s is not 4. If it's not 4, simply return false. Simply return false. Or I can simply return 0 also. I can simply return 0. Now, once I have cross-checked this about length of 4, I'm going to check for each part, which is first I have like in my A dot B dot C, I have split it into like this. Now I'm going to check condition on each element at split. I'm going to check condition at each step here. So I'm going to simply use for loop for n in s. Now I'm going to check if it has leading 0 check. I'm going to copy this function. I'm going to simply copy this. If leading 0 check and is true, if it is true, what is true here? That it has first of all, I need to check at each the length of A.B.C.D should be greater than 1, and first element of A.B.C.D is 0. If it is true, then obviously it's not a valid IP address. If this is true, I'm going to return 0. Else, I'm going to check length of n. If it is also 0, then also return 0. I'm going to check leading 0 check and also length of n. Now let's check last condition where I'm going to check about this does not contain any number thing. I haven't done this now, so I'm going to check my this final case where I'm going to say try n equal to int n. Why this? Because, for example, let's say I have this case where I have A01, 329, B93, D01. Let's say I have this kind of string. Here it passes the condition that its length is, if I split on dot, I have length of 4. Okay, I don't have any leading 0. Like you can see that I'm passing most of the cases. But once I split on this, and if I ask if int of A, which is A01, if this is int or not, it cannot be int because I have this letter in it. That's why I am passing this condition here, try n equal to int n. Now I will say if if I check the range. If not, range check. If not, range check. If it's not in the range because I have a letter in it, then simply return 0. Now the accept block, accept, return 0. Now in both cases, I'm going to return like this. Now simply if all these conditions it passes, then I will say return 1. So this is, I have passed all the logic. First is range check here, and second is leading 0 check, and third was the length after at each split, which I did it here like using this if condition. Then I also checked about if it's not in the range, because here, yeah, I have checked range here, but here I checked about range because I need to first check whether I have any letter in it or not. This condition does not contain any number, this case. First I converted it into int, and then I checked if not in this range, then return 0. So then I said in accept return 0 because I try to convert here. If this does not execute, then obviously it returns 0. But if it's int, then I need to check range again. I hope you got this point. Why I am passing return 0 here, because if it's not int, obviously I need to return 0. But if it's int, I will check again, range check. So in the end, finally I said return 1. Now once I execute this and I check is valid, I'm going to pass, let's say, some numbers like 222.111.412.513, and if I run this, it is giving 1. 1 means true, it is a valid IP address. Let me just try to pass. So let's just copy this and check the next case. For example, I'm taking here 000, and this let's say I'm taking this case and check what happens. So you can see it is not a valid IP address. It is not a valid IP address since it has leading zeros. And if I check another case where I'm just taking the first element 0 like this, and rest are fine, and let's see what happens. Again it will come invalid as I have 0 in it. Now let's test one more case where I have a letter at each split. Let's say I'm taking here A and I'm taking B, 6. Let us take this and check again, it will be 0. So you can see in which case it will be an invalid IP address, as we have checked in all cases above here. And let's just check one more case, simple, very simple, 1.1.1.1, and you will see that it is passing because it does not have leading 0. Its total length is 4 if you split at dot, and it doesn't have any character like letters, alphabetical letter. And what else condition we had here? It's in the range of 0 to 255. So all condition pass. That's why it's a valid IP address. So this was the problem statement which was asked in Microsoft. I hope you got the logic. If not, please write this code properly and try to understand what's going on here. If you like the video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe our channel. Please share it with your friends. So that's it, guys. Thank you.